Tomorrow, you will have your rematch between Alabama and LSU, but for right now, you are locked and loaded into the number one forum for Crimson Tide football news, notes, and information on a Friday TGIF edition of the show. We are welcoming you into, in my own words, with yours truly, Stephen M. Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Appreciate everybody for tuning into the show on today. The show brought to you by WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. That is WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and purchase you that four-finger bling necklace, four-finger bling jewelry, showing that support to Coach Saban, the University of Alabama, the student athletes, and having that tradition of dominating, owning the fourth quarter. So check out WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. That's WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. Get you that four-finger bling necklace today. As always, we're bringing you the show from Tuscaloosa, streaming this on YouTube. Speaking of a channel, go ahead right now, run those likes up. Run them up, run them up, run them up. Like the show, give a thumbs up on the show, hit that subscribe button, turn all of those notifications on so that way you can have the best and alerts here on your favorite program, that being the Crimson Tide. Got a lot to get to, a lot to discuss on today, but not only are we streaming this to you through YouTube, but we also got you covered here on Facebook and Twitter. So we got you on YouTube, we got you on Facebook, we have you on Twitter. No excuse for you not to be tuned in to the hottest ticket when it comes to your Alabama Crimson Tide, that being right here in my own words, with yours truly, Stephen M. Smith. Got the man John Ivory, the man, the myth, the legend, the maestro in the production studio. We got two awesome guests today. We're going to get a chance to sit down with my man Carter Bryant, who covers LSU. Going to break down some Tigers as they get ready to take on the Crimson Tide on tomorrow. We'll also sit down with the lead scouting and recruiting analyst for Touchdown Alabama Magazine, that being one Justin Smith, to discuss 2021 recruiting here for your Crimson Tide. But want to hear from you, want to get your thoughts, your viewpoints, your opinions. This is the game that you as Alabama fans, y'all wanted to see. Alabama, LSU, the rematch this year. It was one of three games you had circled on the calendar, so do not let tonight go by without letting your voice be heard and giving your take on the conversation. Number you can call in, 205-448-1358. The number to dial to let your voice be heard on the show, 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. I'm pretty sure all of you have been enjoying the Alabama High School Athletic Association, state championship games, the Super 7 that's going on right now at Bryant-Denny Stadium here in Tuscaloosa. There have been some amazing high school state championship games thus far. On Wednesday, it was crazy watching Thompson High School come from being down 9 to beat Auburn High School 29-28 to win the Class 7A state title. The city of Auburn can't catch a break. Thompson got the win there over Auburn High School. Congratulations to Handley High School in Roanoke, getting the 4A state title and beating Gordo High School. Tonight, Pinson Valley High School, JaQuincy Kool-Aid McKinstry, the 2021 defensive back commit for the Crimson Tide. He'll be playing on tonight, so gonna definitely get a chance to speak with Justin on what he expects to see from one Kool-Aid, but I'm pretty sure we've all gotten a chance to check out some of these high school championship games. They've been exciting to this point. But we dive into topic number one now of tonight's conversation, and that being Nick Saban. Alabama head coach Nick Saban has been cleared to travel. He's been cleared to coach this matchup against LSU. The COVID isolation over. He talked about it on his Hey Coach show on Thursday. He's ready to get back on the field. As much as he enjoyed watching the game from TV, the Iron Bowl matchup and cheering from afar and cussing at the TV, as we all tend to do sometimes when Alabama is not doing the right play or executing the right situation. The 69-year-old would much rather be on the field, coaching his guys, being around the team, and being on the field involved, not just in the game planning, but the adjustments being made and things of that nature. But this week, this game right here, he is looking to send a message not just to LSU, but also to the College Football Playoff Committee. When it comes to LSU, he wants to send this message of, don't y'all ever pull that mess that y'all pulled last year. Everybody remembers what LSU did just a season ago. They came into the matchup against Alabama. Yes, it won 46-41 at Bryant-Denny, and it was a well-played game, but the extracurricular activities afterwards are what we are referring to. After the game, we saw the LSU student-athletes go to the stands of Bryant-Denny, taunt the fans, taunt the 2020 recruits and commitments for the commits for the Crimson Tide. And then there was a moment where Ed Ogeron literally had his players at midfield, had them on the Alabama logo at midfield, and said, "This is our place. This is our house from now on." That's what Ed O said. Bryant-Denny is our house. Bryant-Denny is LSU's house, apparently, from now on. Then he went to the locker room and gave his profanity-laced statement. And even prior to that, he talked about how, LSU's changing the narrative of college football. He talked about how, LSU, we're more physical than Alabama. We knew we were going to beat them. We knew we were better than them because we were more physical than them. All of these statements that Ed O said, last season after the win, Coach Saban is taking this game personal. This is a very personal game for Nick Saban. That's why he was so bent on getting over the coronavirus, getting himself clear, and getting on the plane to travel to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, because this game right here means a lot to Coach Saban. I mean, he answered the revenge question early in the week. Of course, the players have talked about it. We're not talking up revenge. We're not focused on that, but you can look into their soul, and those players are ready to take Ole Miss's heart, snatch it out of its chest, and eat their heart out. I mean, these players are ready to do this. So for Coach Saban, this game is very personal for him. And I kind of equate this matchup to, remember the 2012 BCS National Championship game off the 2011 season? The 2011 season, everybody was so excited about Alabama LSU. It was the game of the century. It was 1 versus 2. I was a freshman at the university at the time, and ESPN's College Football Game Day was in town. Everybody, the national mass was buzzing about this matchup. 40 to 50 players that played in that game, 40 of the 50 players from that game, were drafted to play, pro ball in the NFL. And the final score of that game was 9-6 in favor of LSU. But when the rematch came in the BCS title game, you didn't see a lot of national media attention on that game. The ratings were kind of low for that matchup, but Alabama laid waste to LSU 21-0 at Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans. And then so you look back at last season, everybody was excited. National media excited for Alabama LSU. It was. President Trump was in the building. You had Tua Tagovailoa versus Joe Burrow. You had all of these exciting factors for this game. You had College Game Day was in the midst. And, of course, LSU got the win. But this time around, you're not seeing a whole lot of national media attention. College Game Day normally has Alabama LSU. You say Bama LSU, College Game Day, like, we there. Either it's Tuscaloosa, either it's Baton Rouge, we don't care. Strike up the bus, we going to this game. This time around, the game day crew is going to check out Coastal Carolina. So that's how the national masses feel about this game, Coastal Carolina. But, the Alabama fans and the LSU fans focused on this game and this matchup. To me, I just feel like this game has a 2012 vibe to me. 2012 BCS National Championship game vibe to me, where Alabama's going to go in here and it's going to lay down the law. It's going to take care of business. I spoke to a source about 40 minutes before this show today, and the source told me Coach Saban has given Steve Sarkisian the green light. Alabama's going to look to run up the score. Coach Saban has given Steve Sarkisian the green light. He's told Sark, hey, everything in that playbook, in that play sheet you got, we're running it and we're running it all. We're running it and we're running it on up. We're running everything in the play sheet. Even when Bryce Young gets on the field, we're still going to be throwing the football, running this offense. So you can already tell Nick Saban taking this game personal. He wants to send a message to LSU to say, look, you beat Alabama one time in 8 to 9 years. You have no dynasty. You have no dynasty. You have no run of championships. You won your first national championship for the first time since 2007. You are not changing the narrative of college football. So that's the message here that Alabama's trying to send or going to send to LSU, this weekend. And the message that Nick Saban's trying to send to the College Football Playoff Committee is, last season, Alabama didn't make the cut for the playoff for the first time since the playoff originated in 2014. So recall that now 6 years. And even with a 2-loss Alabama team a season ago, it would have made more noise than what Oklahoma made last year in the playoffs. Now, no offense to Jalen Hurts. Huge fan of Jalen Hurts. Will always be a supporter of Jalen Hurts. When you look at just Oklahoma itself, a 2-loss Bama team would have made way more sense in there in terms of ratings, in terms of competitiveness, in terms of eyeballs being on the TV, in terms of contracts, television contracts, and everybody viewing this football game and viewing the playoff that year. A 2-loss Alabama team would have made way more sense. But hey, that's besides the point. Nick Saban is going to send a message that nobody is going to come close to the Crimson Tide this season. Jerry Judy, a few weeks back, former Alabama receiver, now at the Denver Broncos, he tweeted out that he sees nobody beating Alabama this year. And Coach Saban looking to show that Judy is 100% right in having that statement. But along with Saban trying to send this message to LSU, there are quite a few Louisiana-born players on this Alabama team looking to send a message to LSU. And I'm referring to the likes of Dylan Moses, of Christian Harris, of Christopher Allen, of Slade Bolden, of Devonta Smith, of Fidarian Mathis, even down to one Pete Golding. Yes, Pete Golding, the defensive coordinator for Alabama. He is from Hammond, Louisiana. He's in Louisiana himself. So there's a couple of Louisiana-born people at this program right now that look to send a message of, don't you ever come for Nick Saban. Don't you ever come for the University of Alabama. Don't you ever try to say that you're knocking us off our pedestal, because we're still running for championships. We're still in the conversation. We're still paying the bills. We're still moving the needle. We are still the talking point. We are still the measuring stick of college football, that being the Crimson Tide. And for me, I know Paul Bear Bryant was all about class. He was about class. He was about doing things the right way. But after what LSU did a season ago, I would not be surprised if Nick Saban allows his players to hit the gritty dance on LSU every time players score, every time players get a big play. Just hit the gritty all over Tiger Stadium. And for those who are not familiar with the gritty, it was a dance that was originated out of New Orleans. So players of LSU and players for the area, hit that dance in terms of celebration, in terms of getting the party and getting the vibe started, that type of ordeal. So I feel like this would be the only situation where, after all the trash that LSU talked last year, it's only fitting that the Alabama players, after each big play, hit the gritty all over LSU's field, just showing them, hey, you disrespect us, we can disrespect you a whole lot better and beat you at the same time. So that would be kind of my thing right there. We'll see how Nick Saban goes about it, but he's looking to send a strong message this week. We take our first break here on the show. Don't touch that dial, just getting you started here. When we get back from the break, we'll entertain your phone calls, your thoughts, your tweets, your texts, your super chats. We'll get to you, the fans, right after this.
You're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith, brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Get your four-finger bling necklace today by visiting weownthefourthquarter.com. Throw them foes up. Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care in support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwellsports.com and get your Title Towel today.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
We are back in, folks. We are back in from the break on the number one forum for Crimson Tide football news. In my own words, with yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine, TGIF edition of the show. And we're going to get to your phone calls right now. 205-448-1358. The number to call in to let your voice be heard. The call segment is brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, the family that is the Blue Wrench Gang. But before we do that, a couple of super chats to get here first. Jimmy Clay starting us off early with that $20. The super chats. Appreciate that donation coming in from Jimmy Clay. I mean, how about Roll Tide and Rise Up? Roll Tide and Rise Up helping us out there with that $10 donation as well. Appreciating Jimmy Clay and Roll Tide and Rise Up showing us some love here on the show. But 205-448-1358. This is your time to get your thoughts in, your ideas in, your viewpoints, your opinions in here. 205-448-1358. We take our first call. You're live on the show. What's going on? Live on the show, caller. Well, we lost that caller right there. We go to our second call. You're live on the show. What's going on?
Hey, Stephen, this is Mike from Kentucky. How you doing tonight, buddy?
Doing good, Mike. How you feeling?
Oh, man, I'm feeling good, man. Relaxing on a Friday afternoon, burning some wood, watching your mug on YouTube.
Hey, hold on. It's the mug. It's the mug looking good there, man. Is the mug okay?
Yeah, you're good to go, bro. You're good to go.
That's awesome. So how are you feeling about this game? I know it's different not having College Game Day in Baton Rouge for this matchup, but how are you feeling, Mike, about this game?
Well, it's not so much about revenge for me at this point. It's just I just want to get out of this game and not lose any key personnel. You know, get out clean. We got bigger fish to fry than LSU. Just to get out of the game injury-free with a little bit of a beat down, I'm good.
Okay, I can see that. And that's how a lot of Bama fans are feeling right now, too. Get out of this game injury-free, make some plays, you know, show LSU that, hey, remember what you did last year. That's not going to happen again, and move on to the next competition. So I'm looking forward to this game. Definitely looking forward to the SEC title game down the road here between Bama and Florida. But, Mike, man, we appreciate you starting us off, man. Take care, man.
All right, man. Have a good evening.
Absolutely. Mike from Kentucky starting us off right there. We take our second call of the night. You're live on In My Own Words. What's going on?
Hey, it's Rob from Mobile.
Rob, what's happening with you?
Hey, I'm worried about one thing in this Alabama game game tomorrow, and that's the one key injury that we may suffer as a result of that game. You know how Eli Gold gets excited and when he says touchdown Alabama, and he goes that long touchdown. Well, I'm afraid he may say it so many times that his voice may get hoarse, and he may not be doing the game for the rest of the season. after about the 7th touchdown, he might get a little his voice might get a little sore after a while. So we might lose Eli there for at least a game after the beatdown we're going to put on the LSU.
I mean, Robert, I can see that. I could see that. And that's the reason why, if that was to happen, Robert, I'm going to put in my application to call the next Alabama game.
I'll give you, if you do a petition, I'll be one of the first ones to sign.
I'm just saying, if I don't want it to happen to Eli Gold because I'm a fan of Eli. But if it does happen, I will write, Crimson Tide Sports from Learfield myself and be like, hey, put my name in the hat right there. Put my name in there.
Remember those songs where, when Orgeron did that idiotic thing in the locker room where, we own Alabama, the Roll Tide, FU, and all that. It's like, dude, you must not realize who you're talking to. With Nick, if this is Nick Saban, the GOAT, you're going to have to play him again. While you're acting like this, you act as though you only play Alabama. It's the championship game, and you may not ever play Alabama again. Or you're beating up on Vanderbilt or something. This is Alabama. You're acting like this, and you're going to play this guy again? You know what you're doing? And like you said, Sark has already got the green light. I don't care if it's Bryce Young in there. You keep throwing that rock. You keep slinging that rock, and you run up that score as high as you can get it. So, and you deserve it, Ed. I'm sorry. You got this coming. You went up against the bull. You're about to get the horn. This is Nick Saban. This is not Vanderbilt coach, or even Harbaugh on his way out the door. This is Nick Saban you're going against. You don't ever own him.
He's about to get it, man. He's about to get it. But Robert, man, appreciate the call. Keep listening to us. We take our next call of the night. You're live on In My Own Words. What's going on?
What's up, man, Mr. Steve? How you doing, brother?
Doing good, man. How you feeling?
I'm doing well. Calling in from old Montgomery, Alabama. VO the Swami. I'm going to keep it short and sweet, and I want you to remember this score, this prediction I'm going to give you. Bama 51, LSU 10. Mark them words, and you have a good night. And I really appreciate your broadcast, man. You keep doing a good job, brother. Salute.
Appreciate that, man. Got the prediction coming in from Montgomery. 51-10 right there. 51-10 right there. Got that written down. We take our next call of the night. You're live on In My Own Words. What's happening?
What's happening?
Doing good, and yourself?
I'm good. I'm calling from Pennsylvania, man. I'm from Alabama, man. I just want to give a Roll Tide roll, man.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. How you feel about this game, man?
Man, I think it's gonna be bad, man. I think it's gonna be really bad, man. I think Alabama gonna take them to the woods, man. I think it's gonna be 60-0. I don't
60,
think LSU
woo,
gonna score,
60-0.
I don't think they're gonna score, bro. That is how I feel about it, man. But 60. I just want to say that this is my first 60-0. 60-0.
We got you, man. Hey, we got you. Appreciate the call, man. Thank you.
All right, no problem, man. I appreciate you, man.
Absolutely. We got 51-10 and we got 60-0. We take another call here. You're live on In My Own Words. What's going on?
Mr. Stephen Smith, happy Friday, happy holidays, Roll Tide, it's Ballard. How you doing?
Ballard, what's happening, man? So we got a 51-10 prediction, Ballard. We got a 60-0 prediction. What you got right now?
I don't know, man, but, you're looking at Bama's defense. They're getting better every week. The offense, is Mac Jones going to quit at some point? I hope not. It's going to be bad, man. Look, no disrespect to LSU, but I think, like you were talking about at the beginning of the show, you were talking about the comments by Coach O, like this is our house and everything. Woo, that's going to fuel Nick Saban. It's going to fuel the Tide. I don't know, man. They're going to hang a lot of points. LSU, shoot, man, they got some good talent, but come on. They have got to be the worst defending champion I think we've ever seen, and that's no disrespect. They come off this epic season They lose so much. And after beating Alabama last year, Bama's sitting there like, yeah, we see you. Yeah, keep talking, 46, 41, whatever. How about I give you this? I say 55 points on the scoreboard for the Tide. Maybe LSU gets lucky, gets 3 in there. 55-3, sir. It's going to be a bad game. It's going to be a long night for LSU.
55-3 in favor of the Ballot. Man, Ballot, we appreciate it. We appreciate you guys calling in so far, giving us your thoughts there on this game and your score predictions as well. As we got 3 of those. We got the 51-10, the 60-0, and the 55-3 from Ballard. But cool little topic right now, and it goes to one Christian Harris. Here is somebody that is really looking forward and excited for this matchup. Because remember, Christian Harris was the one in the 2019 signing class that LSU said he wasn't physical enough, he wasn't tough enough to play at LSU. And now Christian Harris looks to even the score this weekend. Check out this video from the Alabama from the Alabama media department highlighting one Christian Harris. Christian Harris is ready to work out. Christian Harris ready to work this weekend and get this victory over the LSU Tigers. But we take a break right now. We go to a break right now because upon our return, we sit down with both of our superstar guests, Carter Bryant, to talk the LSU Tigers, and our own Justin Smith to break down 2021 recruiting here for the Crimson Tide. We'll be back after this.
You know what we do at the start of the fourth quarter. We throw them foes up. But now you don't have to wait until the fourth quarter. Get your 4-finger bling necklace at WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. It's the first and only logo that captures the essence of all Crimson Tide players and fans as we represent the legendary Alabama football fourth quarter dominance. Get your 4-finger bling necklace right now at WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. Get yours today and stun on them haters. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
We're back into the action here, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, on the hottest show on the streets, the number one forum here for Crimson Tide football news, that being In My Own Words. And before we get to the In My Own Words hotline to pick up both of our guests, gotta throw you a little bit of this right here. So I might not be the wagering type, but for you out there, you feel good. You feel like betting on this game. You feel like putting some money in on this Alabama LSU matchup right here. Check out our friends, new sponsor right here for TDA, MyBookie AG. That's MyBookie AG. Make the right play and sign up today at MyBookie AG. And when you do, and you use the promo code TDAlabama, you get to deposit your match halfway, all the way up to $1,000. So MyBookie AG. Go to MyBookie AG right now. Use the promo code TDAlabama to get your deposit matched halfway. Get that deposit met halfway, all the way up to $1,000. You can't beat that with a stick if you're trying to, get your win on for this Alabama matchup versus LSU. Go to MyBookie AG. Get your win on right there. New sponsor here to Touchdown Alabama Magazine. But We go over to the phone lines right now. We pick up our first guest of the evening, my good friend Carter Bryant, better known as Carter the Power on Twitter, covering those LSU Tigers. Carter, man, we had you on the first time. The game ended up being canceled. We got you back on again.
Well, welcome. Thank you, Stephen. I really appreciate that introduction. I appreciate all the random Bama fans that have been trash talking my YouTube videos this week. And I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, it's been some of the craziest comments I've ever heard. And it's fine. Look, we're all crazy SEC fans. We all have crazy SEC fan bases. But goodness me, there have been multiple Bama fans. Now, I don't know. This could be some of the Bama fans out there that have told me that Alabama is coming to eat pounds of flesh tomorrow. So I don't know, Stephen, is there a cannibal problem amongst the Alabama fan base?
I am not sure on that one, Carter. I am not sure. I know it's not me, but I am not sure on that one, Carter. But one thing I am sure about is getting this conversation started with you on LSU, sizing up the Tigers here for this matchup. So, first and foremost, what is Coach O trying to do in this game to at least try to keep it somewhat respectable? A lot of people are looking at this as a blowout, a beatdown of epic proportions. What is Coach O trying to do to keep this somewhat respectable here?
Well, let me be fair here, Stephen, to the Bama fans out there. I get it, because Coach O did his fair share of trash talking, whether it be meeting at midfield or the locker room speech where he said some words about Alabama I don't want to say over the air. I get it. I know there's some extra juice, especially considering that LSU obviously won for the first time in 8 years, and it happened to be in Tuscaloosa. So I get it. And look, I said on my channel today that Alabama is better at every position group, maybe outside of defensive back, and even then I would give Bama a slight edge. They're better on special teams. Alabama's just a really complete football team, where LSU, Stephen, obviously their best defensive performance of the year against Texas A&M, only holding them to 20 points. Kellen Mond did nothing at all, but LSU's offense is playing its worst. And I'm talking back when Bama would shut out LSU every time that they would come to Tiger Stadium, which begs the question, how is Ed Orgeron going to be able to generate any offense? And obviously the stat that is on every LSU fan's mind is the last 2 times Nick Saban has come to Baton Rouge, LSU has scored a grand total of 0 points in the last 8 quarters. So we'll have to see what happens there.
Now, one thing that Ed O is going to hope in this game, Carter, is the quarterback position. I know the Tigers played both T.J. Finley and Max Johnson against Texas A&M, but T.J. Finley, according to Coach O, gets the nod to start this game, a true freshman. So when you look at a young man that's about to face an Alabama defense that is starting to peak here at the right time, what is going to be the process for T.J. Finley in this game?
Yeah, Bama, obviously last 3 games, only, 16, 17 points given up is pretty ridiculous. And it's interesting considering this is a Bama defense that had a lot of players on it that received a lot of hate mail from LSU fans, including Patrick Surtain and Dylan Moses. There's a little bit of extra juice in this game for them, especially since Dylan Moses didn't get to play in the game last year. So it's really fascinating. This LSU offense is really, 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 really bad. They just lost Terrace Marshall Jr., who scored a touchdown on Alabama last year, their best offensive player. And I think the biggest gap, Stephen, in the position groups is Alabama's great offensive line with Dickerson and Leatherwood, and LSU's offensive line, which, there's no other way to put it, put out the worst game I've ever seen on film from an LSU offensive line last week against Texas A&M. They were brutally manhandled, and they missed all different kinds of assignments. So if you're Nick Saban going into this matchup, it looks pretty good for you, especially if the LSU offensive line continues to be horrible. So, yes, all the questions are about TJ Finley, and he's not a true freshman quarterback the level of a Bryce Young, per se, or a DJ Uiagalelei, or even a Tua. But he's a very capable SEC starter. It's just the offensive line and no Terrace Marshall Jr. is just a huge issue for LSU.
Now, before we even get into, defensively, what the Tigers could do with Bo Pelini, a defensive coordinator, and we are joined by Carter Bryant covering the LSU Tigers. If you're just tuning into the show on a Friday, LSU's got Eric Gilbert at tight end. Very athletic guy, very rangy guy. Coach Saban talked about the matchup nightmare or the matchup problems that he presents out there. How often will LSU at least try to get the ball to, Gilbert and trying to create some matchup opportunities?
Yeah, Stephen, so right before I came on, I tweeted out the link of my LSU preview, and I'm glad you asked that question because that's exactly the question I addressed, because Eric Gilbert is the one LSU offensive weapon that would scare a Nick Saban, because obviously when you have a freak of nature like Eric Gilbert, for those that aren't familiar, think Julio Jones, but in a tight end's body. He has that type of talent. The one thing LSU hasn't done, though, Stephen, is they don't put him at receiver enough. They don't spread him out wide like what Florida does with Kyle Pitts. So if I were LSU, knowing that Terrace Marshall is no longer there, I would put Eric Gilbert out wide and see how he does as a normal receiver. And when he's been in that role, he's been really good for LSU. So if there is one freak of nature player to look out for on the LSU's offense, it's number 2, who was the highest rated tight end ever in the history of 247 Sports, the Gatorade Athlete of the Year in all of high school football. Steven, he's already got 30 catches this year. Only one other tight end in the history of the SEC since 2009, actually, has had 30 or more catches. And that just shows you the talent that Eric Gilbert possesses. So if there is a player to worry about, it's number 2 for LSU.
So one last quick one here, Carter. One last quick one here while we got you on the phone line right now. So Bo Pelini, what's the number one thing Bo Pelini has to do defensively to try to slow this offense down?
There's nothing you can do, really. I mean, Alabama's offensive line's really good. Najee Harris leads the SEC in broken tackle rate, leads the SEC in carries 10 yards or more. He killed LSU last year. The matchup that Bo Pelini's going to cross his fingers and hopes works out better, Derek Stingley Jr. versus Devonta Smith. And I know I mentioned this the last time I was on with you. Did a full film study on it. Did a 30-minute breakdown of how that matchup is a lot like Julio Jones versus Patrick Peterson back in the day. And last year, Devonta Smith was the only wide receiver that really tore Derek Stingley Jr. up. So LSU doesn't just have Stingley. They have Elias Ricks, who's been the best corner in the SEC, period. So that's going to be a pretty fancy matchup, Mechie, Bolden, and Smith up against LSU's really good corners.
We shall see what takes place on Saturday, but as always, we're happy to have Carter Bryant here on the show talking LSU football, sizing us up here for this matchup. Carter, we appreciate it, man. You stay safe, be good. I'll be in the Bayou tomorrow, so maybe we can link up and talk some more football, but you take care, man.
Yeah, just retweet it. Tell everyone to go check out my LSU Bama preview. We got a lot of Bama fans talking trash, so I really like it. Thank you so much, Stephen. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Carter Bryant, a.k.a. Carter the Power, talking some LSU with me right here on the show as the Tide and Tigers square off on tomorrow. But now we get to the lead scouting and recruiting analyst for Touchdown Alabama Magazine to talk some 2021 recruiting for the Tide, that being one Justin Smith. Justin, what's going on, man?
Nothing much, Stephen.
Happy to have you on the phone line right now, Justin. So we saw last week in the Iron Bowl Alabama got the 42-13 win, convincingly dominating the Tigers in that matchup. And one of the top backs in this recruiting cycle, Armani Goodwin, out of Hewitt-Trussville High School, who was recently committed to Auburn, decided to decommit earlier this week. Talk about that for just a moment here, Justin. And is there a shot where Alabama can swoop in here and get Armani Goodwin for the 2021 class?
Yeah, I think there is a shot. I don't see at this moment Armani Goodwin choosing the Tide just based on the fact that the Tide may not take a running back in this 2021 recruiting class. They may take a guy, but it is not a 100% thing, because you have to look at the fact that they did pull in 3 running backs in the 2020 recruiting class. They also have Keelan Robinson, who will come back to the University of Alabama. And if he does come back this year, could not count against his eligibility. So the Tide really do not need a running back in this 2021 recruiting cycle. Armani Goodwin would be a nice pickup for them. He's a nice, powerful running back, a guy who runs with some great balance. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's a shorter back, so he can create that lower center of gravity. So he's an all-around great, speedy, powerful running back who any program would love to have. But I don't see at the moment the Tide signing him. That could change over the next couple of weeks. But at this moment, I don't see the Tide getting his signature. I think he possibly could be leaning more towards the Georgia, LSU, or possibly Florida State route, as those are the schools that he has said he's going to look at, those 3 schools along with the Tide. Of course, this is recruiting. Things can change very quickly. So it is something to keep your eyes on, as it is a developing storyline.
Now, one prospect, Justin, and a lot of people are really infatuated or talking about right now is one Sage Ryan, the 5-star, one of the top defensive back prospects in the 2021 cycle. Now, he recently committed to LSU. He's got a lot of family ties with the Tigers of Louisiana. But depending on how this matchup plays out between Bama and LSU, if Alabama was to lay the wood to the Tigers and embarrass the program there, beating it bad at Tiger Stadium, could you see a situation where Sage Ryan decommits from LSU, or is it really too early to tell right now?
Well, I think it's too early to tell. I don't think a Alabama win would push him to decommit. I think some other factors would go into that. I think when you look at the possible sanctions that the Tigers could face in the future, that may have a bigger impact on Sage Ryan flipping his commitment from LSU to the Crimson Tide. It is not out of the realm, because the Tide definitely want to add another defensive back. And if Sage Ryan comes calling and says he wants to commit to the Tide and they still have room left, they are going to take him. So it is not out of the realm to think that he could be a part of the Tide's 2021 recruiting class in the future. He is still in contact with Alabama, so that is something to note as well. But I don't think just an Alabama win would just push him to do that, because I do think his family ties with the LSU program is pretty strong. I think it can withstand a beating that could happen in Baton Rouge, Louisiana on this weekend. But it's definitely something to keep your eyes on, because you have to look at the state of the LSU program, and you have to just consider that when you're looking at Sage Ryan. But at this moment, like I said, I don't think a beatdown by Alabama would push him to do that. I think some other factors could weigh into that, and it's something that could happen in the future.
Now, of course, Justin, one of the Alabama 2021 commits for this class, that being one JaQuincy McKinstry of the 5-star, the pride out of Pinson Valley High School. He is playing tonight in the 6A, state championship game at Bryant-Denny Stadium, part of the Super 7, playoffs going on right now. What do you expect to see tonight from JaQuincy in the state title game for Pinson Valley in terms of his defensive back ability, his receiver ability? What do you want to see from JaQuincy tonight?
Well, I think he is going to step up. He has a good track record of stepping up in state championship games. During his freshman season, that's when he really came into himself. That is when he attracted so much college attention after he had a huge performance He was a backup heading into Pinson Valley State Championship as a freshman, but he actually got into the game because of some injuries that the Indians faced during that matchup, and he helped them secure a state championship as a freshman. He has won a state championship as a sophomore, fell short as a junior, so he is looking to bounce back and make a huge impact. He has made big plays in state championships before, so he has that experience. He is a guy who likes to step up in big game situations, so I am excited to see him make some exciting plays. I am interested to see which side of the ball Pinson Valley will use him more in this state championship game, because during his senior season throughout, they have used him on both sides of the football, but you see them give him a break on one side of the football. They use him where he is needed. For example, I remember when Pinson Valley took on Ramsey earlier in the season, Ramsey offense was picking up some momentum, so they put Quincy at safety all of the game for the entire second half, and he didn't play any more wide receiver. So I am interested in seeing him, seeing what side of the ball the Pinson Valley Indians would want him to make an impact on heading into this championship game. And I'm excited to just watch him go to work. He is an exciting player to watch. And as I told you earlier in the week, he reminds me a lot of former Alabama defensive back Trayvon Diggs, because Diggs came in as a wide receiver, transformed and transitioned into a defensive back. Quincy McKinstry is a guy who is bringing a lot of wide receiver skills. I think his transition to a full-time defensive back will be a lot quicker since he has a lot more experience.
Going to be interesting to see what this exceptional talent in one Quincy Kool-Aid McKinstry will do tonight in the 6A state championship game for Pinson Valley High School. But he's Justin Smith, the lead scouting and recruiting analyst for Touchdown Alabama Magazine, joining us on the show to give us a breakdown, a little update here on the 2021 class. You can catch his show, The Process, every Tuesday, and Thursday here on YouTube, as Justin breaking down all the recruits, their tape, providing analysis on how the recruiting is going for the Tide from 2021 and beyond. But Justin, we appreciate you stopping by, giving us the nuggets, the lowdown of what's happening on the recruiting trail. You stay safe, take care of yourself, be good, man.
You do the same, Steven.
Absolutely. Always fun to get a chance to speak with Justin on Crimson Tide recruiting, and my man Carter Bryant breaking down Alabama LSU for us on tomorrow. But we take another break here on the show. Upon our return, we go back to you, the phone lines, the Alabama fans, the passionate fan base that is the Crimson Tide. We take your phone calls, your thoughts, your tweets, your texts, your super chats. We have a dialogue with you right after this.
Don't touch that dial. Call in right now as we're taking your calls up next on In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith, brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Visit weownthefourthquarter.com now to get your four-finger bling necklace. You know what we do at the start of the fourth quarter. We throw them foes up. But now you don't have to wait until the fourth quarter. Get your four-finger bling necklace at weownthefourthquarter.com. It's the first and only logo that captures the essence of all Crimson Tide players and fans as we represent the legendary Alabama football fourth quarter dominance. Get your four-finger bling necklace right now at weownthefourthquarter.com. Get yours today and stun on them haters. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full-year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right. right, folks, we are back in here on a Friday, TGIF edition of the show with yours truly, your man, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. This is in my own words, and I appreciate everybody for tuning in to tonight's show. Got the man John Ivory in the production studio, so got to shout out my brother from another mother doing his thing on those beats as he does every single time. And before we get back to the phone lines to entertain your calls, the call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, we got a few super chats to get to. First off, how about Jimmy Clay again? Throwing in that $10 via the super chats. Appreciate that coming from the man Jimmy Clay. Willie351 donating that deuce into the super chats. That $2 right there from Willie351. Appreciate the pimp of the Blue Wrench Gang, Senator Hines, dropping in that cool $5. That fresh, crisp Abraham Lincoln into the super chats. Appreciate Senator. And then Gucci Todd brings in that $5 in the super chats as well. So appreciate the donations that are coming from everybody showing us some love here on the show. But 205-448-1358, that's the number to call in to let your voice be heard on the show. 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. We take a call right now. You're live on the show on a Friday. What's going on?
Hey, Stephen, this is Coach Rich from Roanoke. What's going on, bro?
Rich, what's going on, man?
Oh, not a whole lot. I just watched one of the best high school football games I've seen in a long time today.
I saw that Hanley took care of Gordo High School.
Yes, they did, and I mean, it was just a good game. It had me pulling my hair out of my head the second and third quarter. I'll tell you what, there's a running back at Hanley, Trey Meadows is his name. He's a junior. He's not that big of a guy, but he's got a little over 1,900 yards. That was before this game, is what Jody Pike, that's his offensive coach, told me. And a shout out to him. Shout out to Coach Strain. That's the head coach. I'm real good friends with both of them. But, man, that Trey Meadows is a monster. I mean, he is a monster. I think tonight he had 3 touchdowns. I'm going to say he had to have had at least 200 yards. And you just can't tackle him. I mean, I think the pile, everybody's got him in the pile. He just comes out of the pile, jumps over people. I mean, he is a monster of a man. And then that quarterback that they have at Gordo, man, he's accurate. He's the real deal. I ain't say that now. He's the real deal. And our players up here, I'm so proud of them. They won. We have a bunch of good ones. I was just so mad that we didn't make more passing plays. But hey, a win's a win. But that Trey Meadows, he toted that team tonight. And the defense played well. I mean, it was a awesome game. For anyone that didn't get to see it, they definitely need to watch it on YouTube or whatever it comes on, because it was a good game.
Always great seeing the high school kids. Rich, we appreciate that call, man. Appreciate it, man. Continue to enjoy your day, man. We're going to continue with the next call here. You're live on In My Own Words. What's going on?
What's going on, Stephen? The young Sway from down the bay.
Okay, Sway is in here now. All right, Sway, what's going on?
And now, man, I was just watching it just for a quick little second, but y'all had Ray Allen on here?
Man, we didn't have Ray Allen on there.
I just see Ray Allen. I was watching. I ain't really had my phone down, but I seen a flag across the screen. Put that one that look like Ray Allen.
That was Justin, man. That was our guy, Justin.
Oh, I thought that was Ray Allen. That's my favorite player, bro. I thought y'all had Ray Allen on the phone. I was like, I want to see you and let me talk to him.
that's Justin, man. But Justin does look like Ray, though.
Oh, man, I thought y'all really had came up, Steve. I was like, man, yeah, they got Ray Allen on there. Like, they really doing some big thing, you feel me?
I feel you.
Oh, well, now, man, that's all I really wanted, though. We gonna put the things on LSU tomorrow, but I just want to see if I can highlight Ray Allen real quick, man. Y'all had me on hold for a little bit, but that's all good, though.
All right, Sway. Hey, Sway, you be good, man. Be good, Sway. We're going to Appreciate Sway calling. No, that was not Ray Allen. That was Justin, but he kind of resembles Ray Allen. We take another call right now on the show. You're live on In My Own Words. What's going on?
Oh, man, old Sway, he's a character, ain't he?
Sway is a character. He thought Justin was Ray Allen.
Yeah, I always like to hear him. Yeah, I was just calling in to say, man, we got Coach Nick back tomorrow, and I anxious to see all them guys have a good game tomorrow. And I think JT Taylor and the Bell brothers says it plain for me right here. We're gonna have a celebration after the game.
Nothing like an after game celebration, man. You got a score prediction ready?
Got the what?
You got a score prediction ready?
Yeah, kind of want to go with Senator Hines there. He's predicting 63-3. I'm hoping that it's going to be a skunk. Yeah, I don't going to see any points on the board there for the old blue and yellow there, or purple and yellow, whatever they are.
Okay, so we got 63-3, man. We appreciate that, man. Continue to listen to it. 63-3. Appreciate that call right there. We take another call on the night. You're live on In My Own Words. What's going on?
How you doing, Mr. Smith? First-time caller, first-time listener. Actually, I've heard about you through articles, but I've never listened. So I'm enjoying it. I'm in the gym right now. I hope you can hear me.
I can hear you, man. What's on your mind?
Well, I'm a Michigan fan, actually. So, just kind of take it easy on me. But I live in Alabama. Now, I will say this. Now, Auburn beat LSU pretty bad. And Bama beat Auburn pretty bad. But I think what they're going to do to LSU tomorrow is probably Old Testament, man. Like, they really going to give it to them. And this is what LSU has to worry about. One, the stuff they said last year. They would have just won with grace and class. It would have been different. But they were, their players were going down to the recruits in Alabama, said, come to LSU, Coach O with all that. Like, it's one win. I know you're happy, but come on. But what they're up against tomorrow is a team with possibly the Biletnikoff Award winner, the Doak Walker Award winner, the Thorpe Award winner, and the Heisman winner. They're probably going to lose like 52, 56 to nothing. Now, I don't see them scoring. I think Saban will eventually call off the dog, but 2019 was a great year for LSU. That's the worst thing that could happen to that program. Because you made Alabama mad and you thought you were on their level, now they're going to have to suffer. So that's my prediction. Either 52 or 56 to nothing. Like, it's going to be bad. It's not even going to be close. It'll be over in maybe second quarter. They're going to murder them boys. Murder them.
56 to nothing, man. We got you right here. 56-0. We appreciate the call, man. Keep listening to us. 56-0. We got that prediction in here. You're live on In My Own Words. What's going on? Live on the show. What's going on? We lost that call there. We're going to go to the topic right now. But if you want to call in to give your prediction and leave your take here, 205-448-1358. The number to do it, 205-448-1358. The number to call in to give your prediction, to give your thought, your take on the Alabama-LSU game on tomorrow, which we've already got quite a few takes in here already. But small topic right now, Alabama-Arkansas game. The SEC has scheduled that one for Saturday, December 12th. This game was set to actually be played this weekend at Fayetteville, Arkansas. Unfortunately, it got pushed back to make room for the Alabama-LSU game that will be on tomorrow at Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge. So Alabama-Arkansas will be on December the 12th in Fayetteville. So the SEC was able to get that thing rescheduled. That matchup will be next week. Should be a fun game. It's going to be a cold game in Fayetteville, and that 9-hour drive going up there to take on Coach Sam Pittman and the Razorbacks, who are a pretty improved team this year, pretty much improved. Felipe Franks at quarterback has been pretty decently for that program. But we take another break here on the show. Don't touch that dial, because when we return, we will wrap things up, by diving into the 5 most important defensive players for Alabama this week, according to yours truly. Who will be the 5 players I pick? Stick around. We'll get to that after this.
Thank Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama. If you're an avid Alabama Crimson Tide fan and you love to flaunt it, then show your Alabama Crimson Tide support by grabbing the All-Bama sneakers. They feature bold Crimson Tide graphics, so no one will be able to question where your allegiance lies. When you add these sweet sneakers to your Alabama Crimson Tide collection, go to stsfootwear.com and use the code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. That's code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. Go to stsfootwear.com and get your All-Bama sneakers today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
We are walking back in here from the break on the number one forum for Crimson Tide football news, in my own words, with yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine on a Friday, TGIF edition of the show. Alabama taking on LSU tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central Time kickoff. CBS will have the call on the matchup from Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge. As always, we appreciate you, the Alabama football faithful, for tuning into the show on today, for your calls, your chats, your super chats, making yourself involved here on tonight's show. Definitely appreciate you guys. Be sure to like the show up, run those likes up, give a thumbs up on the show, hit that subscribe button, turn those notifications on, and that way you can have all the insight on your favorite program, that being the Crimson Tide. But before we get into the final conversation tonight, got to remind you of TDAwear.com. That is TDAwear.com. Make this your one-stop shop, your plug for all of your purchasing Alabama apparel clothing needs here. We got you with the I Love Hearing Touchdown Alabama shirts, the We Want Football shirts, Let Them Play shirts, hoodies of all shapes, sizes, colors. We got you right here. TDAwear.com. That is TDAwear.com. Go there right now. Do it today. Showing that support for Coach Saban, the University of Alabama, the student athletes, and us here at Touchdown Alabama Magazine. But if you look at this game right here, we pretty much know the offensive impact players for Alabama. We pretty much expect the guys out offensively to go out there, have a field day, make some big plays here against LSU. Coach Saban has given Steve Sarkisian the green light to run the whole gamut here in terms of the playbook. Now, one guy to keep your eye on definitely is Jaleel Billingsley. I feel like he has popped more in these last 2 weeks here. Had a touchdown against the Auburn Tigers in the Iron Bowl on last week, with so many people focused on Devonta Smith and John Mechie and Najee Harris out the backfield. Keep your eyes on Jaleel Billingsley. This could be a big game for him. But I want to touch on the defensive players, the top 5 most important defensive guys that are going to have the biggest impact in this game, according to yours truly. So let's do that here. Top 5 most important defensive players for Alabama this week, according to Stephen M. Smith. And at number 5 here, we're going to start off with Josh Jobe. I think Josh Jobe is the 5th most important impactful defensive player, and the reason why, he has come on as of late. I know his passion kind of bleeds into his game where he can be a little too physical at times, but he's been a lot better this year against the Auburn Tigers, led the team with 10 tackles, had a bogus pass interference called on him, which allowed for the Tigers to get that late touchdown on last week. But Josh Jobe playing better on the outside, being a lot better sound in his technique, really focused on his job in defending some of the best wide receivers in college football. He has not allowed a touchdown to be thrown on his side of the field, or on him this season, if I'm not mistaken. So Josh Jobe, number 5 most important defensive player this week as he's looking to take on the likes of Racey McMath and Kayshawn Boutte and other receivers here for the Tigers, and filling in for the likes of Jamar Chase and Terrace Marshall. Both of those two opted out. So number 5 is Josh Jobe. But number 4, give me William Anderson, number 4 most important defensive player this week. Remember this. Tim Williams got his first sack in 2015 against Georgia, his first full sack. That was week 5 of the season. After he got that first sack, Tim Williams was able to breathe, and he went on a rampage and ended the year with 10.5 sacks, just destroying quarterbacks. Will Anderson got the first sack against Auburn. He was able to breathe. Now that he's exhaled, this week against LSU, watch 31. He is coming at the quarterback. I'm predicting 3 sacks. I'm predicting 3 sacks for Will Anderson this week. He's coming at the quarterback. Keep your eyes on that young man right there. Moving on up here, number 3 most important defensive player here for the Tide. I'm going to go with Christian Harris here. Now, honestly, I could have put Dylan Moses here, and Moses, his last go-around facing LSU, I think he will play with his hair on fire. But I look at Christian Harris for this reason right here. Harris was told not tough enough, not physical enough to play at LSU. And last season, of course, he started in this game. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had over 100 yards rushing, 103 to be exact, with 3 touchdowns. Joe Burrow attacked the middle of Alabama's defense, had 393 passing yards with 3 scores as well, with LSU getting the 5-point victory. This time around, Christian Harris looks to even the score. He was featured on the hype video for Alabama today in preparing for the Tigers. Christian Harris is ready to go in here, wreak havoc, run all over the field, make plays, hit his gaps, and be kind of that alpha male at that weak side linebacker position. Harris this season leading the team in tackles with 57. He's got 4.5 tackles for loss, 2 sacks. He's got 5 quarterback hurries on the year, so he does affect the passing game quite a bit. Keep your eyes on Christian Harris at number 3. Number 2, give me some Christian Barmore. Got some Barmore love in here, and he's been coming on strong as of late. And keep in mind, last year against LSU was kind of his coming out party. Now, he had a big game against Southern Mississippi. He had a pretty good showing against South Carolina. He did good against Texas A&M. But LSU was kind of Barmore's coming out party. He made a couple of key third down stops in the second half last year that led to Alabama's comeback there in that matchup against A&O and the Tigers. So watch Barmore this week. Freddie Roach has got this defense clicking, peaking at the right time. Barmore has been an animal these last few games right here. Keep an eye on 58 this week against that LSU offensive line. And at number 1, to me, most important defensive impact player is going to be Jordan Battle at that strong safety position. It was tough at first for him this season, making the calls from the back end. He's gotten used to it. He's gotten better with it. You got to give Charles Kelly, the safeties coach, a ton of credit for working with them, for developing them, for getting them right. He's making the calls with more confidence. He's more confident in his production on the field, in his playmaking on the field. Does have a pick 6 this year. Does one Jordan Battle. So watch him in the secondary this week at the safety position, roam around, create some turnovers. Watch him against Eric Gilbert this week also. He loves to hit and bring down those big tight ends. We saw it last week in the Iron Bowl. Jordan Battle took on a tight end for the Tigers, brought that man down, no problem. So keep your eyes there on that matchup between Battle and Eric Gilbert there at that tight end position. Going to be a fun one to watch, but Jordan Battle, the number 1 impact player to me defensively for this game. But Tide fans, you want to know or have the best in Crimson Tide football news, notes, and information. Very easy to access this. You can get this by downloading the Touchdown Alabama Magazine app for your iPhone, from the iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store if you've got the Android phone. For your audio listening needs, we got you right here. iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, Google Play, TuneIn Radio, Overcast.fm, or iHeartRadio. The good and gracious Lord sees fit. I'll be back on Monday. We'll return on Monday, continuing the conversation that is Tide football. As always, Bama fans, you can purchase individual copies of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Have those sent to your door. That link will be found in the description. Also, if you haven't picked up that four-finger bling necklace, four-finger bling jewelry, do that right now by going to weownthefourthquarter.com. That's weownthefourthquarter.com. That link will be in the description as well. And also, we got the Touchdown Alabama live game day chat, TDA, live game day chat going tomorrow. If you want an experience that gets you inside the game, go to the TDA live game day chat, touchdownalabama.com, where you can talk with either yours truly, Stephen M. Smith, Patrick Dow, Justin Smith, our own John Ivory, or even chat amongst yourselves. Get in that TDA game day chat tomorrow. That link will be in the description as well, as Alabama takes on LSU. But until next time, folks, husbands, love your wives. Wives, appreciate, value those husbands, children. Weekend is here. Still do those things legitimately now. Don't be bored. Get you those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. Remember to protect yourself, protect the loved ones around you. Enjoy the game over the weekend. Till next time, folks. Spin in my own words.